Hey everybody, I've been working away here in Greenhouse 5 and there are a lot of plants that are still blooming, and I thought this is a really good time for me to take a walk around and show you some of these plants, because these are some of the plants that you're going to want to have in your yard to bring some of that late season color, especially now as the annuals are starting to kind of fall away. You're not seeing all the color from them. It's nice to have some perennials that really are going to still keep doing the work as we go. So let me start over here and we'll just kind of go through just some of my favorites here and some that are still putting on a show. Yarrow is a nice addition in the yard because it's really low maintenance and it does send up flowers for a really long time, likes the summer heat especially. And then when it's done, it does leave kind of the flower heads, which aren't that bad. They're, just that little kind of brown color, but they have a nice structure to them. So they're kind of fun to look at. So that's one. Over here is some Gaillardia. Now back in May, I showed you these exact same Gaillardia plants. They were over in Greenhouse 7 and they were already starting to bloom and they haven't stopped since. So Gaillardia is nice because you get these really bright, bold colors. Then when they're done, they just have these seed heads that they just kind of leave there. So you can trim those back or you can leave them. These kind will just keep blooming. So you can see there's still more blooms coming. Now the cold weather is going to snap these out of bloom, but it's still really great to see. Like, we still have fresh blooms coming off of that. And we've had some cool enough nights. Now they're in the greenhouse, but they do get still pretty cold in here. So they're managing pretty well. They just haven't hit a frost yet. Or I shouldn't say a frost, but they haven't hit a freeze yet. So that's really been good. Look at the bright kind of center on that one, and then it kind of turns to this afterwards. Over here is some Anise Hyssop. This is one that's interesting. It got hit with spider mites. So because this is such a good pollinator plant, we didn't want to put chemicals on it and things. So we just cut it back. And if we look down over here, you can see we cut it right down to probably about 2 inches. There was really nothing there but sticks. And that was about, I'm going to say 2 months ago when we did that, and it came back. Look how vigorously it came back. Really, shot up, sent up lots of flowers. This is a pollinator favorite as well. So it's just really a beautiful plant, and it's just such a durable one. And to be able to make it through the spider mite issue, get cut back, and then just bounce back and have another round this season, that's just really exciting for that. And then over here is some of the Helenium. Now this one here, I think it's called Rudford, or has kind of a funny name. Rotgold, that's what it is. So this one looks similar to the Mardi Gras one that I had shown you before. The Mardi Gras one opens really early and it just kind of finished up probably, well, I think there's still a couple over there still blooming. So that one opens earlier. This one here opens a little later. There's also a couple different colors. A lot of the other ones have finished up, so we trimmed those back already. So that's all you have to do right now is we just got those kind of sticks gone. And then there's also some false sunflower in here. These are kind of still going. Now all the false sunflower, this is their second batch of flowers as well. They got really, really tall. We cut them back, and then these are kind of the second round of flowers on those. So a lot of these plants are really great for that. Here's some of the Perennial Salvias, and you can see great colors in there. So there's some lighter ones there, darker ones. We've gotten several blooms off of these. Once we get spent flowers, we just go and kind of shear it back a little bit, and then it just sends up more and more. This is a nice bicolor one, so you have the blue and the white in there. And then this one here, this is the Scabiosa. This one's non-stop blooming. I think it started early June. It may have even been blooming when it was in Greenhouse 7 back in May. And it just hasn't stopped. It just keeps sending up flowers. We were cleaning it for a while. Now we just kind of stopped, and it still has kind of an attractive kind of wildflower look to it, but beautiful flowers on those. Just really gorgeous. This one's available in pink and blue, so just a really nice, easy plant. The Echinacea are still going. That's the coneflower, so we still have a couple of those. Those are winding down. These cooler nights are having an effect on these a bit, so they're kind of at the end. Still have 2 lavender plants left, and they are still blooming as well. This one here blows my mind. This is a perennial Gazania called Colorado Gold, and this thing started blooming probably in June, and it took a little break when it got really hot, maybe towards the end of July, and then it started sending up blooms again. So it has been almost a nonstop bloomer for, gosh, months now. So this is just a really nice addition for getting that extra color, throughout the season. Let's see, what else do we have over here? I'll come around this side. This is the Maltese cross. I think it's a Lychnis. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not really sure. Really cool orange flowers. This is the second round of flowers on this one too. This one actually gets quite tall. We trimmed it back and it just decided it wanted to do a little bit more work, and so we let it. And it's just really been nice to see the second round of flowers because those were blooming pretty early. Here's some of the last of the Veronica. Veronica's another one where it's going to bloom beautiful, elegant, long blooms, and then it blooms from the bottom up. And then when they're done, we just go and kind of shear it back to a mound, and it sends up more. So you can see the spent flowers, it does look better if they get kind of trimmed back, but very, very easy plant to grow, and you get lots of blooms off of it. We're still getting blooms off of our cardinal flower. That one blooms a little bit later, but beautiful red. There's also a blue version of it as well. And here's another one. Back in May, I showed you this Carol geranium over in greenhouse 7. It started blooming then. This is another one where we just kind of give it a little cleanup. I don't even know how much cleanup we do on this one. I don't think we do too much, and it just keeps sending up more and more flowers. So its big flush is earlier in the season, but you can see even now later in the season there's still lots of flowers and lots of color in there. And this is the one that just has been a non-stop bloomer. It was blooming back in April, like probably right around April 20th in the greenhouse, and it never stopped blooming. We even hacked it back because we thought, oh, it's done. It was getting a little scraggly like this, so we just cut it. I mean, I think it was trimmed right to the edge of the pot. And then about 2 weeks later, it was ready to bloom again. Now, it did have a lot more flowers earlier in the season, like in the spring, and then it did consistently have a decent amount of flowers. But it's just unbelievable how long this one's blooming. So this is the Alyssum Golden Spring. So just a nice addition there. You can see a lot of these other plants, we have trimmed them back. Good news is that means if you come this Saturday for our special event between 11 and 2, you can pick some of these up, and all the winter work has been done for them. So they're ready for spring. Now Clematis, these are those nice climbing vines with beautiful flowers. This is the Princess Dianna, or also known as Princess of Wales, depends on which tag they used for it. But look at how elegant those flowers are. They're trumpet shape with that incredible kind of flower shape to them. It blooms a little bit later, just beautiful. We have a lot of Clematis in here too, so you can see really nice colors in there. Here's another one over here that's blooming. They do tend to grow together when we have them this close, so there is a little bit of work getting torn apart. But a lot of people will take a summer blooming Clematis and plant it right next to a fall blooming one. So as one kind of winds down, the other one starts picking up. And these here are bush Clematis. Now these are a lot different. They are more of a upright type thing. They have beautiful blue flowers. Oh, we still have remnants of one right in there. They start kind of like a little bit of a balloon flower, and then they just kind of open up wider and wider, and then they give way to these puff balls, which are very fun to look at. They're just kind of an unusual kind of fall fluffy addition to the garden. So just a nice one. We do cage them. You don't necessarily have to, but they do tend to kind of straddle around. So if they don't have something to kind of brace them up, they do kind of look a little bit rougher. You can see the grasses we've already trimmed, and over there is some Columbine. There's one I can still see blooming. I won't walk over there for it. Let's see if I can do the zoom on it. You can kind of see it. It's a kind of a burgundy red with a white flower. So let me take you kind of out and around here. This is a plant called Monkshood, and Monkshood, it's quite clear when you get a look at it why it gets that name. It really does look like the hood that maybe a monk would be wearing in the monastery. Just probably wouldn't be wearing that bright purple color. And they're interesting right from the start, right when they start, the buds up here, right through. So just an interesting plant. The Astilbe is kind of done, as well as the Bergenia. Those are all shade plants, as well as this, is it Eupatorium chocolate? Nice kind of cool white flower on there. This is another shade lover, so we're always happy with that. Let me pop in over here to greenhouse 4. This is kind of an interesting little feature with this hydrangea tree. So these are one of the some of the hydrangea trees that I had cut back in July. So trimmed them right back just because I didn't want them to flop. I wanted them to have stronger branches. Well, some of the buds were still kind of remaining. So those continued to flower, but it sent up new branches with new flower buds on them. So you can see how great that is. Like, again, they're so resilient and so good about planting. So these flower heads are smaller than what we would have had probably from the originals that would have been on here. And that's exactly what I wanted to happen, because I did not want to have big, heavy flower heads on this. Now, this fall, I'm going to go back and give it a quick trim. It'll look great, be ready for next year. And then there's a lot of Heucheras as well that are still blooming. So some of the reblooming varieties will keep sending sending up these beautiful coral bells. And the thing that you gotta love about Heucheras are the leaf colors. So they go from kind of these honey and amber colored leaves to lime to blacks and purples. I love this speckled bicolor one, but just really great leaves on that. We also have a lot of the hydrangeas as well, and everything's looking really good. So they are winding down though, so everything inside is holding up okay. Things outside definitely got nipped. Let me pop out here real quick and let's take a look at what's going on out there. Oop, dirty window, don't mind that. So we're gonna pop out here. So you can see, well, you maybe can't see because the sun is going down, but we still have all our trees in place. We haven't healed those in for the winter just because we're going to wait until they all lose their leaves and they're dormant. This way we can still keep an eye on them in case they need a little bit more water for the end of the season. They are not drinking very much right now, but you can see all of the fruit trees over here still have their leaves. So the deer have actually been having a field day with some of the apples, so I had to go through today and spray them, which is so frustrating because really they're going to be losing their leaves very, very quickly. But I don't want the deer doing any more damage to these trees. I want them to look good next year. So you can see we haven't done any of the pruning on any of the shrubs at this point, simply because I love the fall color on them, and I like to wait until they're dormant because then we can enjoy. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. So you can see like these viburnum, you get really good color off of those, and just a nice mix over here. So let me bring it back. So just a lot to see. And then over here in greenhouse 7, I'll just pop you in here. These are all those hydrangeas that were attacked by spider mites. Well, they look great. Now they are starting to change color a little bit just because of those cooler nights. We also have a lot of hydrangea trees. These are a little bit shorter hydrangea trees in here, but everything's looking great. And then can't believe how much color we're getting off of the potentilla. So this is always a nice, easy plant to grow. We have it in white and pink and yellow usually. And then here's some more of the Weigela as well. And the Weigela usually is a really strong spring bloomer. These we planted this year, so they bloomed a little bit late, so they have more flowers now, but it is a rebloomer for these varieties here. So because of that, we're gonna still see flowers on them even now into the fall. But normally they wouldn't have quite this many flowers on it. It's just that they were a little stunted because of the stress of the planting them and letting them get to size, but they look beautiful, don't they? So, and over here, more of the hydrangeas. Again, you can see these are the quick fires, or little quick fires. That's such a compact, tidy panicle hydrangea versus some of these other varieties like these Bobos and some of the quick fire fabs. And I gotta say, this quick fire fab has been a favorite of mine. The color on it, on the flowers, has been fantastic. So you can see they are at a point where they're starting to send up flowers. So these are the ones that we did have to cut back because of mites, but they really survived well and really did a great job. So it's nice to see. So we do have one last chance for you to come by and check this out for yourself. This Saturday we will be open from 11 a.m. until 2, so come on down. We are running some really good specials as well, so it's a good chance for you to get some good deals on plants. And again, it's not too late to get these in the ground. So I just wanted to give you this little tour. And again, I hope you got some ideas for things you want to add to your garden either this year or in future, so that you can have color even late, like right now in October.